Forks, a brand new luxury. Daily baths, extravagant. And a teenage princess arriving from a vanished empire, bringing with her the glamour and intrigue of a forgotten Rome. That's the world we're diving into today.
The world of Theophanu.
A Byzantine princess, you say?
Married right into the heart of the Holy Roman Empire.
Wow.
And you might be surprised to hear this, but she helped shape the destiny of Europe at the turn of the first millennium.
At the turn of the first millennium. That's pretty incredible. So where are we getting all this information?
Well, there's this really fascinating history podcast episode.
Oh, cool.
Takes us right back to 972.
972, okay.
When the Roman Empire's legacy, well, it was being contested. 3 major powers.
Okay, who are we talking about here?
Okay, so you've got the Islamic Caliphate,
Okay.
the Byzantine Empire,
Uh-huh.
and this rising dynasty in the West, the Ottonians,
Ottonians, I've heard that name before.
led by Otto the Great, trying to, solidify their power in the West.
Right.
And to do that, they needed a strategic alliance.
Okay, I'm seeing where this is going.
And what better way than to forge a connection with the Byzantine Empire, centered in Constantinople, immense prestige.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So Otto the Great, he arranged a marriage between his son, Otto II,
Yep.
and a Byzantine princess.
And that Byzantine princess is?
Theophanu, of course.
Theophanu.
This scene, you can just picture it.
Oh.
A teenage princess arrives in Rome from Constantinople with an entourage, fit for, royalty,
Yeah.
laden with jewels, silks, a grand entrance,
Yep.
deliberate display of power and sophistication.
Oh, yeah, making a statement.
Definitely. And the marriage itself, lavish.
Yeah.
Officiated by the Pope himself.
Ah.
Symbol of East and West uniting.
Incredible. Talk about a story for the history books, right?
You would think so, but
Oh, there's a but?
turns out Theophanu, not actually the emperor's daughter.
Wait, what?
Like everyone thought his
Emperor.
niece, actually.
Oh, my gosh. This scandal?
Can you imagine?
That's a huge plot twist.
Big time.
So was the marriage, was it called off?
No. Otto the Great, he was a shrewd politician.
I can imagine.
Recognized her potential.
Yeah.
Allowed it to stand.
Smart man.
Yeah. He seemed to understand the value of a strong, intelligent woman by his son's side.
That's interesting. So we're talking about strong women. This period, the 10th century, it's been called the century of women. Right?
Exactly right.
Wow. I don't think I'd ever heard that before.
It was a time when women, they were wielding significant political influence. Something we overlook when we think about medieval history,
Yeah, for sure.
The podcast mentions some notable women.
Like who?
Adelaide, Otto the Great's own wife,
Oh, wow.
crowned alongside him as Empress.
That's amazing.
There's Gerberga, Otto's sister. She ruled the West Frankish kingdom as regent. For her son,
Okay.
even further east, you had Saint Olga of Kiev,
Okay. Yeah.
after her husband's death, ruled with, well, an iron fist, to say the least.
Wow. So, what led to this rise in female power? What was going on?
Well, according to the podcast, a few things. Theological shifts,
Okay.
the frequent deaths of men in warfare,
Oh, yeah, of course.
and the need for stable leadership, times of upheaval.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we have to remember, this was still a world shaped by the Roman Empire,
Right.
where, the idea of a powerful empress, it wasn't unheard of.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, to think of Theophanu arriving in this world of powerful women, but still being an outsider.
Oh, yeah.
This young Byzantine princess navigating a foreign court.
Totally.
Powerful mother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
Does she even speak the language?
We can only imagine the challenges, historical accounts offer glimpses into her personality, of course.
Yeah.
Conflicting, as you might expect.
Well, of course. Back then, who knows what was true and what wasn't.
Exactly.
So what did they say about her?
Well, some called her insolent.
Oh, wow.
Criticized her for talking too much, which,
Yeah.
they attributed to her Greek heritage, of course.
Oh, of course. The classic stereotyping.
Yeah, but other accounts describe her as serious,
Okay.
modest, even a rare thing in a Greek.
Oh, my gosh. That's so interesting.
She made quite an impression.
Clearly, it sounds
Yeah.
like she had a sharp mind,
Oh, yeah.
keen understanding of court politics.
For sure. In fact, within a year, outmaneuvered her mother-in-law,
What?
Adelaide.
Oh, wow.
Ended up retiring to Burgundy.
Wow. Talk about a power move.
That's one way to put it. And she didn't stop there.
Oh. What else did she do?
Theophanu played a key role in helping Otto II subdue his uncle, Henry the Quarrelsome.
Okay.
This is where we really see her Byzantine influence, coming out.
Okay, so what did she bring to the Saxon court?
A level of sophistication they hadn't seen.
Yeah.
Luxurious silks,
Okay.
dazzling jewels, daily baths.
Oh, wow. Daily baths.
And get this, forks.
Forks. I mean, that seems so, basic to us now.
Right. It just shows the extent of the cultural exchange. The Saxons, powerful, but still seen as, well, a bit barbaric by the Byzantines.
Okay.
Theophanu, she elevated the court, brought a touch of, Roman glamour.
Okay, so it sounds like Otto II was also embracing this Roman emperor image.
Oh, yeah.
Did that ambition get him into trouble?
It did, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Fueled by, his own desires and maybe influenced by Theophanu's heritage, he set his sights on conquering Italy.
Italy, to solidify his claim as Roman emperor.
Exactly.
But wasn't Italy already, part of the Holy Roman Empire?
It's
I
complicated.
figured it would be.
The Byzantine Empire, they still held territories in southern Italy.
Okay.
And then there was this growing threat, the Fatimid Caliphate,
Okay.
whose Saracen pirates were wreaking havoc along the Italian coast.
Oh, wow.
It was a complex geopolitical situation.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
So Otto II, yeah, he had his work cut out for him.
He did. So where was Theophanu during all this?
Right by his side. Accounts suggest she even rode with him into battle.
Wow.
Can you imagine a Byzantine princess raised on stories of Roman glory? It must have seemed like, destiny call.
It's like something out of a movie. But I'm guessing things didn't go to plan?
To put it mildly,
Oh, boy.
Otto II's campaign against the Saracens, 982. It ended in disaster.
A disaster. How so?
Total defeat, forced to flee, even had to borrow a horse from a passing Jew just to escape.
Oh, my gosh. Not a good look for a Roman emperor.
Not at all. Pretty humiliating.
I bet. So how did Theophanu react to all of this?
Well, some sources say she was furious.
Oh, yeah.
Scolded Otto II. Said that her countrymen, they would never have been so reckless.
I don't blame her.
Right. She wasn't afraid to speak her mind.
Clearly. So this defeat, I mean, it must have put them in a very precarious position.
It did. Otto II, he was forced to stay in Italy, try to, regain control back in Germany. Rebellions breaking out. Situation was, it was getting out of hand.
Spiraling out of control. So what did Theophanu do?
Otto II, in a testament to, his trust in her, he sent her back to Germany to deal with the crisis.
Wow. Trusted her with the empire.
And this is where we see her strength and her political skills really come to the forefront.
Okay, so she became acting ruler.
Pretty much. Young son, Otto III, declared co-emperor.
Wow. What a pivotal moment. What happened next?
She traveled north to, quell the rebellions, secure the empire for her son, and she proved to be remarkably capable.
Really?
Stabilized the borders, forged alliances,
Wow.
projected strength and authority.
Incredible. So she navigated court life, military crises, political crises. It's amazing how she managed it all.
Yeah.
So young, a foreigner.
It really speaks to her character,
Yeah.
her abilities. But tragedy struck in 983.
Oh, no. What happened?
Otto II, he died suddenly. In Italy, Theophanu, now a widow and regent, had to lead alone.
Wow, that's a heavy burden. So this is when some historians, they start calling her the Empress of the Apocalypse.
That's right.
Okay, so what's the story there?
Her reign, it coincided with, with these apocalyptic anxieties growing in Europe as the year 1000 approached.
Oh, yeah. I remember learning about that. Everyone thought the world was ending.
Exactly. And remember, she was raised in Byzantium,
Right.
where prophecies and beliefs surrounding the last Roman emperor, they were pretty common.
Last Roman emperor. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So are we saying she actually believed the world was going to end?
Well, the extent of her personal beliefs, it's debated.
Okay.
But we know that she instilled these ideas in her son.
Otto III.
His reign would be marked by, attempts to forge this unified Roman Empire.
Okay.
And a preoccupation with these end times prophecies, a legacy potentially, stemming from his mother's influence.
Wow, that's fascinating. How these personal beliefs can become political ambitions.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It really does. It makes you wonder, what if Theophanu had lived longer? Could she have achieved this vision?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sadly, Theophanu, she died in 991.
Oh, wow.
Relatively young. But her impact, on this period, on Otto III, undeniable.
Incredible story.
We've only just scratched the surface.
I bet. So in our next segment, We'll explore her regency, her role in shaping Otto III, and, of course, those apocalyptic anxieties.
Stay with us.
This is a deep dive you won't want to miss. So last time we left Theophanu with quite the challenge ahead of her,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
cheering the Holy Roman Empire for her young son
Otto III.
after her husband's death.
Multiple fronts, really. Not just the complexities of court politics, but serious external threats, too.
What kind of external threats?
Well, for one, you had the Wends, a Slavic group. They'd rebelled, causing chaos on those northern borders. And then you had the Danes launching raids along the coasts. It wasn't pretty.
It sounds like the empire was on the verge of collapse.
Close, very close.
So how did she hold it all together?
Decisive, shrewd ruler. She really focused on stabilizing things, using both military source and diplomacy,
Right.
a key part of her strategy, negotiating treaties with the Danes, the Swedes, securing their neutrality, even their support in some cases.
Wow, smart. So she wasn't just reacting to crises, she was shaping the political landscape.
Proactive, exactly.
Were there any other important alliances that she formed during this time?
One that stands out, her alliance with Vladimir the Great of Kiev.
Vladimir the Great. Didn't he convert to Christianity later on?
And that's the one. That decision had a huge impact on Russian history.
Wow. It's incredible to think that Theophanu was interacting with, these major players on the European stage.
It was a pivotal time for sure, and her role in it can't be overstated.
And don't forget her connection to Byzantium.
Right. She was a Byzantine princess, after all.
Did she maintain ties with her homeland?
She did. She managed to establish a relatively stable relationship with Basil II.
Basil II, the new Byzantine emperor.
The one and only.
That's impressive, considering the tensions between the East and West.
Especially after Otto II's failed attempt to conquer southern Italy.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be some lingering resentment.
There were definitely challenges.
So how did she manage it?
Theophanu, she was a pragmatist, understood the importance of balance, knew that outright conflict with Byzantium, it would be disastrous.
Yeah, especially with all the internal problems she was already facing.
Exactly. She was juggling so much.
Competing interests, threats. It's a testament to her political skills.
And her diplomatic savvy.
She was a masterclass in, what's that phrase? Real politics.
Something like that. Power wasn't just about military might, but alliances, concessions, knowing when to push, when to hold back.
Lessons for modern leaders, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So she's managing this diplomacy, securing the borders, all while raising her son.
Otto III, the future emperor.
Right. Was there anything else that characterized her reign as regent?
The sources highlight her piety, her dedication to religious affairs.
Devout Christian.
Very much so. Supported the church, oversaw monasteries, made donations, participated in processions, the whole 9 yards.
It sounds like she was cultivating an image
Maybe.
of a devout Christian ruler, to legitimize her authority.
It's possible, especially as a woman ruling in, well, a man's world.
Right. It was a time when religious authority was closely tied to political power.
Absolutely. By showing her piety, her support for the church, she was reinforcing her legitimacy and her son's, too.
It wasn't just for show, though, right?
Mm.
It sounds like she was genuinely devout.
The sources point to that, yes.
And she was also influential in promoting certain theological ideas.
She brought with her from Byzantium a deep understanding of Eastern Christian traditions. Seems to have introduced some of those to the West.
Like what?
Her strong advocacy for the veneration of the Virgin Mary.
Okay.
Already widespread in Byzantium, but less so in the Latin West.
So she wasn't just influencing politics, but religion, too.
A multifaceted impact.
Remarkable.
She was, but sadly her time as regent, it was cut short.
Oh, no. What happened?
In 991, Theophanu died, only 31 years old.
That young. Do we know the cause?
The sources aren't clear. Probably some kind of illness. A devastating loss for the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, can imagine.
Deeply mourned, her legacy as a wise and capable ruler, it endured.
It's tragic that after all that, she didn't even see her son crowned emperor.
A sad ending to an extraordinary story. But even though her life was short, her impact on Otto III and the Holy Roman Empire, it was profound.
We've talked a lot about her political skills, her diplomacy, but what kind of mother was she to Otto III? How did she prepare him to rule?
From the sources, it's clear she was very involved in his upbringing, his education.
How so?
Instilled in him a love of learning, a strong sense of his imperial heritage.
Okay.
And as we've discussed, a fascination with those Byzantine traditions and those prophecies about the last Roman emperor.
It sounds like she really shaped his worldview, his ambitions.
She was his guide to the world, to power.
but telling a young boy he's destined to be the chosen one, the one to reunite the Roman Empire. That's a lot of pressure.
It was. And remember, Otto III was only 3 when his father died.
Oh, wow.
Theophanu was his primary role model.
A heavy burden to bear. So how did Otto III handle this legacy? Did he embrace those apocalyptic prophecies?
That's what we'll explore in our next segment.
Okay. We'll dive into the reign of Otto III, a ruler shaped by Theophanu's legacy and driven by this vision of a reunited Roman Empire.
On the eve of what many believe to be the apocalypse.
Empress Theophanu, what a story.
Incredible, right?
Byzantine princess to Holy Roman Empress, court intrigue, rebellions.
Leaving her mark on her son, Otto III.
Otto III. He inherited an empire and all those captivating apocalyptic prophecies we talked about.
Unsettling, too, perhaps.
Right. He's often described as a visionary.
Consumed by the idea of reviving the glory of Rome.
We have to remember Theophanu's influence.
Oh, absolutely.
More than just a mother, you know.
Teacher, confidante, instilled in him this sense of destiny.
It seems he really took those prophecies about the last Roman emperor to heart.
Oh, yeah. Surrounded himself with scholars, advisors, shared this vision of a revitalized Roman Empire.
Wow.
Even adopted the title Servant of Jesus Christ.
Emphasizing his role as a divinely appointed ruler.
Exactly.
So a theocratic empire. Emperor and spiritual leader.
You got it.
Did he launch any military campaigns to expand his territory?
He wasn't afraid to use force when needed, quelled rebellions in Germany, Italy, even campaigned against the Slavs in the east.
Okay, but his approach, it went beyond simple conquest.
Much more nuanced.
So what was his strategy? How did he envision this reunited Roman Empire?
Symbolism. Ceremony. The key. Breathing new life into ancient traditions, rituals. Modeled his court after the Byzantine emperors.
Okay.
Ceremonies, courtly etiquette, reverence for Roman law and culture.
Like a Rome 2.0.
Yeah.
Blending Byzantine and ancient Roman elements.
Precisely. Moved his capital to Rome. Restored palaces, monuments. Brought in Byzantine artists, scholars. Evoking the grandeur of the past.
Presenting himself as the true heir. Fascinating. Symbolic gestures to reinforce his authority. Legitimize his claim. But did it work?
Mixed results. His inner circle, swept up in the enthusiasm, saw him as a visionary, ushering in a golden age.
But others, further from the center of power.
Maybe not so much. Some resented the focus on Rome, the Byzantine customs, seen as a rejection of the empire's Germanic roots.
A threat to their own power.
Exactly. A recipe for conflict.
And conflict there was.
Oh, yeah. Otto III faced rebellions throughout his reign, challenges to his authority, tough to control.
So after all that, did he achieve his dream, the reunited Roman Empire?
Sadly, no. Otto III died in 1002. 21 years old.
21, that's so young.
Sudden death, like his mother's, cut short his ambitions, left the empire in uncertainty.
Another tragedy. Promise cut short.
What a story.
What about his legacy? Did any of his reforms, his ambitions, survive him?
Tough to say. He ruled for a short time, many plans unfinished. But he definitely made his mark. Intense cultural exchange. Byzantine influences flowed into the West.
Art, architecture, political thought. And that sense of apocalyptic anticipation.
Even though he didn't see the year 1000, his reign was tied to those prophecies.
The last Roman emperor.
Those prophecies resonated for centuries.
Influencing movements throughout Europe.
It's true.
What a whirlwind tour through history. Theophanu, Byzantine princess to empress.
And Otto III, the ruler who dreamed of reviving Rome.
A dream shaped by his mother's legacy and the looming apocalypse.
They remind us of the power of ideas, the interplay of cultures, how individuals leave their mark.
Theophanu's legacy continues to fascinate.
We've only scratched the surface.
So many stories, mysteries.
Who knows what we'll uncover next?
Perhaps another deep dive into the world of Theophanu, the empress of the apocalypse. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep into the past.
Thanks for joining us.